Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's having a good day out there today. Welcome back to another edition of Mental Mondays. And if you guys are new to the channel, you haven't really been here, Mental Mondays is like, I consider it just sort of a club for the people that watch the channel, something we do once a week. We talk about a lot of stuff, maybe doesn't have to do with fishing. And it's my favorite part of the channel. It's one of the things that I really enjoy doing with the channel. And I appreciate you guys taking some time to watch the videos. But today we're going to have sort of a discussion. I'm going to give you guys my opinion. I've been thinking about this in a while on money and basically what money does to people, the effects that it has the effect that it has on people on both ends of the spectrums. And I'm going to give you guys some thoughts from my own experiences I've had with it and dealing with people. You might find it a little bit interesting, but I think it's a topic well worth to discuss because it is such a big part of our life. I'm going to start out with this right off the bat when you're talking about money. One of the, I've always been like a sort of an observer of human behavior. I try to look at it from a third party perspective. And one of the things that I can tell you for sure, there's certain truths in life. One of the truths I can tell you guys for sure is that having money, people that have a lot of money, that is no measure of intelligence whatsoever. Because I'm not saying this about everybody that has money, but I've met a lot of people that are wealthy in terms of financially wealthy, that are some of the most ignorant people I have ever met in my life in terms of things that I equate intelligence to. To me, I gauge the intelligence of a person based upon their integrity and their ethics and their compassion and their empathy and their ability to tell the truth and go by the truth and live by the truth, live by facts, live by critical thinking. There's a lot of elements out there that I consider a measure of intelligence, and having a lot of money is not one of them. Absolutely. What I want to talk about a little bit is that there's two ends of the spectrum. What not having money does and what having lots of money does, and sort of in between. And I'm going to give you guys some experiences from my own life and people that I've met, my own experiences with this. First of all, one of the things that the realities behind money is that we have to have it to live in our society today. And I think one of the biggest problems that we have as a society in general is we focus too much on just acquiring more and more and more money all the time. This is not a healthy road to go down. I'll explain that a little bit. There's been study after study, and it's pretty much documented, proven truth that most of the cultures out there that don't put a lot of value on money, and I'm not talking about people that live in poverty, but I'm talking about people that, they get by okay, but they just don't put a lot of value on material wealth, tend to be the happiest people on earth. And the people that put a lot of value on material things, gaining wealth and building wealth, tend to be some of the most unhappy people on things. So money is not going to buy you happiness. That is one of the true statements in the world. But at the same time, you've got to have it to live. And one of the biggest, I'm going to start with not having money first, because guys, I'll use my own example here. Professional fishing is a very financially unstable profession to be in. It has potential to have a big windfall profit, but also has potential to lose a lot of money. In the 35 years I've been fishing professionally, I have been broke, and I've also had periods where I've made a lot of money, and I've had periods in between. I've had everything in between being broke and having a lot of money, everything in between. And one of the things I can tell you as far as in terms of happiness, from my own perspective and what I've seen from other people, is that the happiest times, as far as when I didn't have distractions from money, was when you had enough money to pay your bills and comfortably, that type of stuff. It's a tremendous stress and a tremendous distraction if you don't have enough money to get by or pay your bills. That's a tremendous stressor on anybody. And I think it's probably one of the top 3 stressors that we have in our country today is people that struggle to make ends meet. That's a very, very difficult situation to be in. I've been there. I know how it is. And also, I've been on the other end of the spectrum. You've had a lot of money. You've had a lot of additional income, discretionary income. But for me, in my own experiences, the times that I have enjoyed life the most are times when I have just had the money to pay my bills and not have to worry about if my bills are going to get paid. Not getting rich, but just having enough money to pay your bills. That to me is like an ideal situation. But the problem we have in our society is we have created a society that's just constantly about getting more and more and more and more. And this is a dead end street, because I can tell you guys right now, when you're laying, if you are fortunate to live to be 90 years old or 95 or whatever, and you're laying on your deathbed, you are not going to be looking back and regretting the fact that you didn't work harder to make more money. That's going to be the last thing on your mind. The thing on your deathbed, you're going to be thinking about, people you love, people that loved you, the experiences in life that were real, that didn't have anything to do with money. So you got to think it's important to remember that. But when you're talking about money in general, one of the things that I found out is that money can bring out the worst or the best in people. You take for example, the war criminal coward Vladimir Putin, who's worth billions of dollars, and he's gotten that billions of dollars through blood money. For that particular person there, it's all about power. It's all about gaining power through the pain of other people. That's on one end of the spectrum, about the negativity that money can bring. And then you have somebody on the other end of the spectrum, say like Leonardo DiCaprio, who has basically given away the majority of his own hundreds of millions of dollars in wealth to conservation and environmental projects. So money can also be used to good ends. It just depends on the individual. One of the things that I've seen with this, though, is that when you start getting somebody that is really focused on money, it's like, how much do you need? How much is enough? Because I've had the opportunity to fit in my career. I have been in the boat with billionaires, people that were more worth. One particular person was worth $2.5 billion I fished with. And I've been in the boat with people that were homeless, basically. Everybody in between. And I can tell you right now is that the people that I have met that have been super wealthy, and I'm not saying all of them. Like I said, I don't want to lump anyone because there's always exceptions, but a large percentage of the guys that I fish with that have been super, super wealthy, there comes to a point of which that making money becomes like sort of an end to gain power, that type of stuff. And you see this a lot in different aspects. You see this a lot big time in politics. I mean, there's politicians out there that you can have one politician insult another politician's wife, insult them, call them the worst names in the world, and that one politician will still support the other politician simply because they feel like they can gain some type of power or profit from it. So money can bring out the worst in people, and it does a lot of times. And one of the most true statements that I've ever heard was one of the instructor in a couple of the survival schools that I went to says, he made the comment several times. He said, the American dream is destroying this planet. And that's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't understand what that means, I can explain it to you in a message. But in my opinion, like that, it's like we have gotten so invested and so wrapped up into making money that we lose ourselves in the advent of that. And it becomes a race for more and more. And it's like, how much do you need? I mean, at what point does somebody make enough money that, what is the driving force about making more money? Because in my opinion, if somebody gave me $1 billion tomorrow, I'd give all of it away, most of it. I mean, what do you need that much money for? I mean, once you've got your basic essentials paid for and everything else, what do you need that much money for? And the thing that people have to ask themselves is, if they are in this constant rat race to make more and more money, you've got to ask yourself, what are you lacking internally? Basically, the race to make more and more money, you're trying to cover up some type of an internal issue that you have that requires you to have more and more and more once you get to a certain point. And every person I've known or observed or known that is a prime example of it. I mean, people that are uber wealthy tend to be highly flawed individuals internally. And if they would take some of that money and put it into therapy and put it into figuring out why, they just can't get enough, that would be a big benefit to them. But ultimately, it's the fear. I mean, people that have this drive to constantly push forward and make more and more money and gain more and more power, it's ultimately a fear issue within inside of them, that there's always going to be a scarcity or always going to be a lack. And it's it's sort of difficult to get around, because unfortunately in this country, one of the very difficult pills to swallow in our planet today is the fact that people that have money control everything. They do. They control politics, they control business, they control legislation, they control laws. Money is a direct contributor to power. And until we figure out some way to break that cycle and not to continue to subsidize and support it, then that's going to be the way that you do it. One of the best ways you can do it in the political thing is stop politicians from being able to receive any type of money from corporations or outside private donations. Put a private donation cap at $10 a person. Make it where there's no money in politics. Make it where if you are elected to the political office, you get paid minimum wage and you don't get any medical or dental benefits. Make it like it's somebody that's working at McDonald's or something like that. And then you'll see the people that are really interested in serving the public instead of serving their own best interests. But one of the things that stands out to me is one of my clients, one of my regular instructional fishing clients, he's been a really successful businessman, and he's super sharp, super aware. I really have a good time fishing with him. And he made the statement to me when we fished a couple weeks ago that he goes, he's about the same age I am. He goes, I figure I've got like 15 really good years left, productive years. And he said, he goes, and he equated it out. He said, I figured this up and I've got like 4,200 hours left on this planet, or 4,200 days left on this planet. And he's at a point now where he doesn't need any more money. So he doesn't waste any one of those days doing something that doesn't contribute to him enjoying life, that doesn't have anything to do with money, the things like fishing and stuff like that. But I got thinking about that and how cool that was of somebody that put that much value on living over money. If we could all, adopt that type of viewpoint, how healthy it would be. But the point of this video, guys, what I want to make is that if you're one of those people out there that are caught up in this focus about getting more and more and having more and working harder, don't get sucked into it. I mean, there's no need to get sucked into it. If you can, pay your bills, get by, focus on being happy, focus on the things that make people happy internally from a deep perspective. And I can promise you that is not money. Once you get to a point where you're comfortable in paying your bills, there's not a lot else that you need, because if you feel like you've got to have things like material objects, new things, better things, fancy things, if you feel like you have to have that to be happy, you need to ask yourself some really difficult questions about why that you feel that. What is it that you're missing that you think is going to put a Band-Aid on that? That's going to be a big help with that. Ultimately, the piece of advice I'll give you guys out there is, if you can do something to earn money that you like, that you love, even if it doesn't pay as much, you need to go for it, because there's nothing that is more satisfying than being able to do something that you enjoy doing, that you don't consider as work, and get compensated for it. If you are doing something that you hate, that you can't stand to get out of bed and go do in the morning, and you're making bank doing it, it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it, because you're going to wind up dying early from stress. It's absolutely not worth it. So that's the ideal situation. But anyway, I just wanted to toss a few of those thoughts out there. Like I said, I don't have a lot of respect for money, and I don't have a lot of respect for some people that have a lot of money. I've been around those people, like I said, especially politicians. I don't have any respect whatsoever for politicians that have a lot of money, because they shouldn't. They should be servants. They shouldn't be trying to get wealthy off of politics. But unfortunately, that is all too common today. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in the video. Much appreciated. Hope you guys are having a good day. Please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see y'all later.